Hello. This week is about preschool physical development, and physical development moves along at a very rapid rate when children are in the 3 to 5 age group. So, this week you're going to read Traffic Chapter 10, and then there are two really, really good articles about. The first one is about inclusive preschool settings, and this is how to really set up your classroom when you have children with some physical development issues. And also you want to make sure that everyone in the classroom, even those with normative development, can use it and get a lot out of it. And then the second article is so interesting. It's about meal kits. This is such a great strategy. Let me just pull that up. So many children these days are obese because their eating habits are horrible. You just have to look in some lunches that are sent to school with your students to see that they're not eating the best diet. And anyhow, this is something that was tried in a school in Mississippi, and it's all about fixing healthy meals at home and learning what's really good for you, and so on and so forth. So I included that, and then okay, the other article is old. This one's from 2011, but sometimes an article is so good that I just want you to read it because rough and tumble play is one of those issues that people don't often agree on. Parents may feel one way about it, and teachers may feel another way about it. Regardless of how you feel about it, if you're a preschool teacher or even teacher of kindergarten, first, and second grade in public school, you're going to see kids on the playground wrestling with each other and being quite rough. This article talks about some of the misconceptions about rough and tumble play and the positive aspects of it and how to tell the difference between what actually is fighting and what is just rough and tumble play, because there are some important distinctions that teachers need to know about. And it also goes into how to prevent children from crossing that fine line between rough and tumble play and fighting. Okay, so like I said, I think this is a really good article on the topic because this comes up in early childhood settings all the time. I can remember when I was teaching pre-K, and our director sent out a notice saying we were no longer allowed to let the children do any pretend play fighting on the playground. They all thought they were, special rangers and so on and so forth. And this is back when the Mutant Ninja Turtles were really big, so they all thought they were Leonardo and whoever the other turtle was, and they were fighting with their pretend swords. Well, we couldn't let them do that anymore. So yeah, okay. Something to keep in mind when you're out there teaching early childhood. So, the other thing I wanted to point out very quickly is the art development, because not just the gross motor development is really important during that age, but it's also the fine motor development, which is their artistic development. Okay. There are stages of artistic development. I'm not going to read it to you, but obviously you're going to see even 2-year olds make random scribbles, and they become a little bit closer together and more coordinated as they work their way into the threes and fours. Most fours will be in the pre-schematic stage where they have a favorite color, or they're able to draw people. They call them tadpole people. I mean, not the kids, but that's what artistic people that are analyzing these call them. And they look like this. They have a big head, they have legs, and sometimes they have stick arms and sometimes they don't, but they're called tadpole drawings because it's mostly just the face. Also, you'll see some lines combined. You might see a name, maybe not. They may make a favorite shape. And as they progress through, and when you get to, say, kindergarten, first grade, you may see something like this, which is obviously a child on the playground. But the one thing that really sets this apart is the fact that there's no baseline. Everything is just floating in space out there. So that's still part of the pre-schematic stage. But sometimes they get pretty detailed, as in Hansel and Gretel here. They are floating in space, so it's still pre-schematic. But Hansel is quite detailed. Take a close look at Hansel and you'll see why I say that. And yeah, so why is it important to know the stages of artistic development? Well, it's important because if you're in first grade and you have a child that's still drawing something that looks like this, or maybe even this, then that's something that you want to investigate. Um, you know, artistic development oftentimes goes hand in hand with other developmental issues. So if you see a child that's not progressing in their artistic development, that's just one more thing to bear in mind, and then look at how they're doing in other facets of their development. It's always important to know whether or not they're on track or not. Okay, if you have any questions, please let me know. There are 2 assignments this week. You're going to complete discussion board number 5. And this is all about children with challenging physical conditions. And then you're going to come down to the preschool physical development analysis, and there's a separate instruction video for that. All right. Let me know if you'd like to set up a Zoom meeting. I'm always happy to meet and answer questions. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.